Thank you. We have questions. Representative Wilkins.
You said that passage of this bill would guarantee state being sued. What are you basing that on? I'm hearing both sides.
Representative Wilkins, we cannot hear you. I apologize. If you would speak into the mic.
Don't do this every time. I look the other way. Did you hear the question?
Yes, I did, Representative. You asked about the guarantee of lawsuits. Going back to the mid-1800s, the Supreme Court had issued rulings on the issue of states, or when states have attempted to nullify a state law. So we can look at a long line of cases going back to the mid-1800s. Those opinions, those Supreme Court opinions, are the result of cases brought by the federal government against states who have attempted to pass a law, or who have passed a law that nullified a federal law. So in short, there is a long line of Supreme Court cases that we can look to.
Representative Wilkins, are you done?
Of course, your Attorney General's office, who actually hires, who represents the state of Arkansas in these matters. Do you have an idea of what these lawsuits, if they were brought, what they would cost the state?
It is difficult to say at this time what the cost would be to the state. There is no question that the litigation would last for at least a year or two. It requires significant state resources. The other concern is, the other reality rather, is the attorney's fees that the state would be required to pay when this suit was ultimately, when it's deemed, when we're unsuccessful, essentially.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Representative King.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, when the health care bill was being debated, was the Attorney General for the health care bill while it was debated in Washington, D.C., or was he against it?
The Attorney General has...
Representative King, we have said we're going to stay focused on the scope of the bill, and the bill is on the federal mandate, not on the health care bill in general. Would you try to keep your question to that, please?
Yes, fair question. When it comes to issuing an opinion, you're giving legal advice, but wasn't the Attorney General's earlier advice on this issue when there was going to be challenges in court, that they would be frivolous? Is that correct?
The Attorney General did not file suit because he believed the individual mandate would be deemed constitutional based on existing legal precedent.
But did he also not use the term that any challenge in court would be frivolous?
I believe he's since retracted that phrase.
Okay. Because certainly the judge in Virginia, but he did retract that he thought it was frivolous, correct?
The Attorney General has evaluated the legal precedent. Based on his evaluation, he initially believed and continues to believe that the individual mandate will be deemed constitutional based on that legal precedent. The focus of our testimony today is on HB 1053 and our concerns with the state's passage of this bill and the legal consequences for the state.
I understand that, but you're giving legal advice, and his earlier opinion was that this was a frivolous lawsuit, but he has since retracted that, correct?
My opinion, my testimony today is focused on HB 1053.
You talked about the attorney fees and what it would take to defend the state, but you also recognize there's consequences that if this law is implemented, that some of the figures that we hear is $200 million in extra what it's going to cost the state. So there are other, the alternative is if this goes into effect, it will cost the state more money on another side, correct?
The Attorney General has not evaluated those issues.
Thank you. Any further questions? Ms. Block, thank you very much. Now we'll be looking for, I'm sorry, Representative Mayberry, I did not see you. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You mentioned the almost guarantee of a lawsuit if this were to pass. Can you tell me, is there any bill that our legislature could pass that there would not be the possibility of a lawsuit?
Good point.
Representative, the Attorney General has not evaluated that issue.
So there may be bills that are passed that there
You
can
could
never
sue
be a
for
lawsuit
anything.
filed over? Is that?
Representative, there could always be a lawsuit, of course, over any bill filed, where our concern is about the likelihood that our defense here would be unsuccessful.
So, regardless of what the bill is, it is evaluated through the Attorney General's office in essence by whether or not, what the likelihood of a lawsuit would be, whether or not that bill is something that everyone could agree upon, it was a perfectly good thing. Is that correct?
We take no position on the policy, but we're just giving you our advice that if the law is passed, it will draw a lawsuit and it will be difficult to defend. The prevailing party, the plaintiff who brings the suit, can then ask that we pay their attorney's fees. That's the result if the lawsuit is successful on our side.